Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Guys, I am super excited for today's video because here in front of me I have the entirety of Halo Heroes Series 18. Now, before you get all riled up about the fact that Series 16 and Series 17 are still not really in stores and not really available, let me cover a few things. First of all, this is a fall release. Kevin has confirmed this. These are not supposed to be out, along with the blind bags, the ones that's all Spartans with the new molds for Chief and all that. Both those and this series will not come out until fall. That is what is the official release time. So don't get too worried. This is, once again, things being leaked from the factories. And I'd actually like to make an entire video discussing this at some point. But basically, things are leaking out of factories too early. I bought this from a seller called Popcorn8 on Mercari. And he's in California. And somehow California gets all the stuff first. I don't really understand how that is, but it is. So, just before we get into that, just keep that in mind, that these are not supposed to release for months yet. Okay? So, there's still time to find Series 16 and 17. Hopefully, they will continue showing up. I know some places have been seeing them more and more. But, yeah. So, don't be real worried that Mega is releasing this right now. Months before this is going to release. And hopefully, we'll see some change in how things are distributed. Maybe Target will pick up Heroes again. I'm not sure. And as for that, it's a big subject, but a lot of Halo stuff is not in stores anymore. It's not just Mega Construx Halo Heroes. So keep that in mind. Don't jump to the comments going, why are these out? I can't even find Series 16 and 17. These are not out yet. They are unreleased. They will continue to be unreleased for months yet, except for the ones that are leaking out of the factory from China somehow. But yeah, so we are going to take a closer look at this packaging, and then we're going to get into this. The packaging for everything Halo has been trimmed down on detail extensively with the introduction of the new Mega logo. Everything has been more simplified, and this, I really like this design. I really like the way that they're doing this. It's just plain and simple. You see the character you get. I don't love the render. I would love that to be a photo, but you can see your character here. Series 18 branding, just kind of nice black here. There's no extra Forerunner-y stuff here. There's a little bit in the background, but not too much. It's just very, very simple, very clean. Around the back, ton of stuff. Wow, okay, so here's something interesting. So right here should be a batch number. That should be stamped or printed into this section, and it is not. So, let's see, do all of them have it missing? Indeed they do. So, wait, nope, they're up here. Okay. Why are there... Oh, odd. They're up here. And they are all different, which is how it should be. So, these are not bootlegs. I can confirm that. I've looked at them closely anyway, but the fact that the numbers are different shows that. So, like, we have two from batch 0473. Let's see, what is this? 63, and then just 3. What is Consano? 13. So... that's another thing, is the bootlegs were all the same batch. They shared all the exact same number because they were all made by the same factory ripping off stuff. So yeah, this is not bootlegs. And if you want to know how I know that without even opening the package and like how to identify the bootlegs, I have multiple videos covering the Series 17 bootlegs. But rest assured, so far there have been no bootlegs of Series 18. And if there were any bootlegs showing up, it would be now when this is, you know, unreleased and people want to make money off of it. So, let's go ahead and start getting these open. I'm just going to crack them open here. And for sealed collectors, this series is kind of a nightmare if you want to keep the packaging intact, or I guess... not sealed collectors, just the people that like to keep the packages as well. Atriox has no extra pieces. He just has his chain breaker and him. But I wanted to get out the little instruction sheet to take a look. I guess it's really time to do the Atriox comparison video. Okay, let's see here. Let's take a look at this. See if there's anything interesting to be found here. So we've got a lineup of the figures. All right. We have the numbers 49, 46, 47, 48, 50. And then same old instructions of how to build it. The scope on the AR, and how to assemble the flood form, because that is a bunch of new parts, so that's good to see. Very, very good to see. And there's a popcorn in here. So that's not anything super new, but it's good to take a look at that anyways. Honor Guard. I know some people like this new design, some people don't, but we'll take a closer look. And I might have to see if I can borrow an old Honor Guard from somebody so I can compare the two. Because I have Lights of Sanghelios, but I don't have an actual original Honor Guard. Or, actually, correction. I have the original Honor Guards. The old articulation ones, not the new articulation ones. I know some people like Kev, who's one of the channel members. He thinks that this is a little too bright of a color scheme for the Honor Guards, the red ones. And I definitely can understand where he's coming from, for sure. I don't know if I 100% agree, but I can definitely see why that is his opinion, because it's definitely brighter than the old Honor Guards. I can say that for sure. Come on, get out. Eh. There we go. Okay, so where is the... Oh, wait, it's on there. Oh, okay. That's good. I'll take that. The AR comes with the scope already attached. I was really worried about how this guy was going to turn out, but so far, so good. But we'll get a closer look. We'll talk about it more. Here we go. Consano. Interesting choice for this series, but again, we'll talk about that more in a minute. And there's a popcorn in here, so that's nice. It is a good time to be a flood collector. Actually, you know what? I'm now understanding why Consano was included. But yeah, we got just a standard popcorn. It's one of the like darker, more fleshy ones. Matches one of the ones from Halo Universe Series 2. And then we've got Consano herself. Never been a big fan of Consano, but I didn't know much about her. Oh, she has the hand issue. Fantastic. Love it. Alright. And then, last but not least, the human combat form. Probably one of the most disturbing Halo Heroes figures ever made. There is the little antenna thingamajigs, and then there's a green battle rifle. I don't think we've ever gotten a battle rifle molded in green before. Interesting, interesting. Okay, we'll take a closer look at that. That looks really gross without the antenna. That just plugs right in there. Let's see, do they recommend a certain way? Not really, it's just like, I guess you just plug it in. And wow, so there's some new parts here. There's some existing parts. This is a red letter day for flood collectors for sure. Okay, so let's get in there and get a closer look. And we're going to go ahead and start with Consano here, actually. Alrighty, so here's Consano. First of all, stand has the UNSC logo, which is nice. I like how they're sticking with the logos for the different factions. That's really cool. And the stand is just plain simple. You instantly know whose stand you have. Her flamethrower is an updated version of basically the one that comes with the Halo Heroes Series 5 Master Chief. I think there's just maybe a little bit more of the yellow detail, but it's that shark flamethrower, and it's the new kind, so you can stick a flame piece in there. Unfortunately, they did not give her a flame, which is a bit of a bummer. Like, I have extra ones, but not everybody has those pieces because they only came in specific sets. So it definitely would have been nice to get that as an accessory. Speaking of accessories, Kinsano does not have her helmet, which is also kind of a bummer. It would have been nice to get her helmet again, because the original Kinsano came with her big flamethrower Cyclops, and she did have her helmet there, and it's a Flame Marine helmet, but this time we don't get that. Instead, we just get her head, which is not bad. I will get in closer to the head in a second so that you guys can see that, but we have a lot of nice print going on. Like, she looks really good overall. This chest plate, I believe, has only been used for her, so it's nice to see it return. More print. The shoulders have interesting symbols, almost like the back of a prophet chair. And I don't know a ton about Kinsano, so maybe somebody can enlighten me in the comments on what that is. A little bit of print here. Not on the back, but we have a print for the collar, which looks fantastic. Silver and dark gray for the undersuit. Overall, she looks really nice, actually. I expected to really just dislike how she looks. But no, they did a good job. Mega did a good job. This is a good figure. And actually, as I'm looking at this, I believe this upper leg is the one that was introduced in the Halo Infinite Marines when they made them shorter. But I don't think we've ever seen them with this Marine lower leg. And it works very nicely. It works fantastic, actually. I would love to see more of that. And then her other accessory is this little popcorn, as we saw earlier, just so she has something to toast with this flamethrower. He already looks like maybe he's a little toasted. Let's get in a little closer and look at that head. Mega has had a funny track record with human heads. There's been hits, there's been misses, and then there's been atrocious mishaps. Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. I will say that this one is pretty good. The only thing that strikes me is that her lips seem to be kind of off-center on her face. Let me look at it real close for a second. I'm wondering if that's just a mistake on the print, but I've seen photos of other people who had gotten Series 18, and Kinsano also has a kind of off-center mouth. So I'm not sure. It does give her a bit of an interesting expression, like she's thinking or concerned or something. And it's not the worst print error ever. Her eyes look pretty decent. The tattoo on her face looks pretty good. And I'm particularly impressed with the hair. The hair looks really nice, actually. And the sculpting on the head is good. So overall, I would say this is a good human head. Not quite on the level of Sergeant Stacker. I would say Stacker is like the gold standard for human heads now. But this is not bad. The only real issue I can see is that her mouth is off-center. And again, I can't quite tell if that's purposeful or not. I'm assuming it's not, but again, it looks like it could be. So that's not bad. Here you can see the print on her shoulder a little better. See the print here. Look at that. That's really nice, fine detailing. The print on the chest, up to the shoulder and the back. And then the infamous hand issue, which I should be able to fix without too much struggle. It's just annoying that I have to do that. Yeah, overall, not a bad figure. And I think that they've included her because of her connection to the Flood. They wanted a way to kind of give somebody to combat the Flood. And I know there's probably a lot of people that have other suggestions. But this is kind of an obscure character that Mega only did once. And you know from Tarkov and Stacker that Mega is leaning into the obscure characters a little bit more. So it kind of makes sense that they decided to go ahead and update Kinsano. Maybe not the most desirable character ever, but they did a pretty good job. Speaking of odd choices for this series, here we have Atriox. Now, Atriox in of himself is not an odd choice, because it's about time we got a new Atriox. I think the last one was what? Series... What was that? Was that 3? No way, it was 3. It had to be more than 3. I don't know. It's been a while. I'd have to check again. But oddly enough, this is not the Halo Wars Atriox. This is the Halo Infinite Atriox. Specifically, the end cutscene Atriox, which is super weird. Here we go. Here's a stand. Banish symbol says Atriox. Pretty simple. Now, the figure himself. So, first of all, the figure himself does look pretty good. Also, wait, I'm curious. Does he just have, like, a buff torso in gray underneath? No shot, he actually does. What? Oh, gosh. I can only imagine the memes that are going to spawn from this. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so shirtless Atriox is a thing now. And that's a big difference from the other Atriox. And also, apparently, this does fit. It feels like it stretches it a little bit, but not terribly. Interesting. The other thing that sticks out to me right away about this figure is that he's very much like a monochrome look as opposed to the original Atriox. There's lots of grays and silvers and dark grays. We got print for the knees. The chest plate is all printed up, which looks pretty nice. Shoulders are just molded in silver. There's even print on his back, which looks pretty nice. He's got his big, bulky arm and his robotic hand in silver, which is the new brute hand, the 3-fingered brute hand. That's nice. His chain breaker is literally exactly the same. No updates at all. I think the red print is just maybe a little darker. Would have been nice to see a new one or something. I don't know. But it's the same. And then his face is the thing that I really want to focus on. So let's get in a little closer. The last version of Atriox had kind of a meh face. There was like very little detail. He just had his tattoos and then like pinhole eyes. This guy, there's more going on. So first of all, we've got like the silver cybernetic, whatever that is, that's on the side of his head. We have the burned part of his face. So we have kind of, well, is that a pinhole eye? No, it's not really a pinhole eye. That's actually a printed eyeball. And then the other side is a red eye where it's been burned. And then he's got tooth prints. That's what those yellow things are. It's supposed to be his fangs. I don't love how that looks. I would have preferred that they not try to do tooth prints. That's odd. I don't really think that worked out quite the way that they were hoping it would, especially on this side, because the yellow kind of blends in with the light gray. On this side, you can kind of see what they were going for. I don't think that was the greatest choice ever, but I will say overall, this does look like a better face for Atriox than the Halo Wars version originally. It is just odd that they chose this one. I'm not really sure. Maybe they just wanted to make him different, but they've done stuff like Decimus. Decimus was pretty much identical, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. The thought process behind this seems a bit odd, but overall, I'd say it's a nice figure. It's just not quite the definitive Atriox that we needed, because we don't really know what he's doing when he's in this form, where he is. And you can put him in Halo Wars stuff, obviously, because he is Atriox and he can pass for that, just the Halo Wars version. It's just an odd choice to me. Not a bad figure at all, just some odd choices. Like, why did they put him in this form? Why did they give him yellow teeth that don't really look like teeth? But yeah, overall, not too bad. Moving on to the choices that do make sense for this series. First of all, there's the Honor Guard. This one just says Sangheili Honor Guard. It's nice. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Hang on a second. It used to just say Honor Guard, didn't it? Now it specifically says Sangheili Honor Guard. Does that mean we have a Brute or Jirohane Honor Guard on the horizon? Perhaps, if they had to specify that it was Sangheili? Maybe? I don't know. This is just a theory, but maybe we'll have a Brute Honor Guard at some point in the next couple series. Also, the D, for some reason, sticks out way more than the rest. It's odd. And then the figure himself. So we saw the reintroduction of the Honor Guard molds with the Lights of Sanghelios. So it was really only a matter of time before we saw a red Honor Guard return. And this looks pretty nice. Like I said earlier, some people do think it's too bright. Like I was saying, Kev said it was too bright. And I definitely see that. It is a very bright kind of candy apple red, which personally, this color would have been perfect, in my opinion, for the Yoroi. I think they should have used this. There's no translucence in the lower limbs. It's just a very solid color. But yes, it is bright. And also, instead of black for the secondary color, it is gray. And I'm thinking that they did that in order to differentiate between the undersuit and the armor detailing. I think it's not too bad. There's a little bit of weird excess gray paint here on the ear thingamajig. But it's not too bad. The print is overall good. I would have preferred to see it wrap into the ears, but I don't think it's possible. There's a little bit of gray splattered on the top of the head too. But that's not too bad. The gold in there is a little hard to see against the gray, just because there's not too much contrast, because the colors are both lighter. But on the legs, it looks pretty nice. It looks like there's a little more gold on the one side than the other. Gray on the chest. What's that? It's on there. Oh, that's just a piece of something or other. Piece of tape? I don't know. Then underneath, we have the small pinhole and a gray head. Not bad. And then obviously he needs his pike, and the pike is in gray because for some reason Mega has switched all to gray as a secondary color for these honor guards. I believe, actually, you know what? Now I'm going to have to pull out a Lights of Sanghelios, actually. But yeah, not bad. And he's got the new hands. So it's a huge, huge win that Mega has decided to bring back the honor guards, because a lot of people, including myself, never was able to get the original one. And it's so expensive now to get an honor guard, especially if you want like multiples. So it's a huge win, I would say, to see the honor guard again, even if he is a little on the bright side. There he is. Real quick, honor guard ultra, I guess, is technically what the lights are, and the new honor guard. Yeah, they both have gray as the highlight. Although I think the gold on the lights were done a little bit better. A little bit more was put in there. You can see the difference there. Also, there you can see the difference between the Yoroi's color and the honor guard's color. Yoroi is definitely darker, but the darker color is very gummy. So I prefer this red over this red. Oh my gosh. If this honor guard had had the gummy forearms, I would have been mad. So I'll take a slightly too bright honor guard over a too gummy honor guard. Next up is my personal favorite of the whole series, the Peppermint Spartan. There is the stand, Spartan Mark 7, which is, I think, identical to the last one, to be honest. At this point, they're just using the standard thing. Honestly, I would have liked to see the Academy symbol back here instead of just the UNSC symbol, but that's fine. And then the figure himself. I gotta admit, I was very, very worried when this guy was revealed. The red visor on the white looked like it was going to be a nightmare, and it just looked, I don't know, I was afraid. I was very afraid that it was going to turn out horrible. Some of the visors of the early images that leaked looked meh, but now that I have it in hand, this particular one looks brilliant. Like, I love how this turned out. So, first of all, we have an AR in white with the green and the red. Looks very nice, very festive. looking good for sure. I will say it seems like lately they've had a odd maybe miscalibration on their machines in terms of the tolerance of the bars, because stuff doesn't clip as well anymore. It like slides into their hand, but it also bends out again super easily. Well, that one clipped. Maybe it's their hands that their machines aren't quite calibrated properly, but things have felt odd going into Figure's hands lately. So Mega, if you guys see this, please check the calibration on the machines that make the hands. That would be great. So this dude gives me a lot of hope for the Multiplayer Mayhem set because we have a lot of similar detailing. For example, down here, you can see that little... You know what? Honestly, to appreciate this fully, let's get in closer. I think you guys really need to be able to see all this print because, like I said, this I feel like is a good representation of what our Multiplayer Mayhem figures are going to look like. There we go. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to look at was down here. The Multiplayer Mayhem figures are going to have similar markings where it's like a little rectangle with some spots on it. That looks pretty nice to me. That's pretty sharp. The knee print is very sharp. It's matching the white of the parts very, very closely, which is fantastic. There's little red squares. The red squares are tilted slightly off to the side, but it's barely noticeable. We've got more print up here on the front. This one looks like it's maybe slightly misaligned, but again, very minor, very, very minor. Not enough to make me go, oh, wow, that's a terrible misprint. Then we've got some green on the side that matches, yeah, it's the shoulder is molded in that green, so I'd say it matches pretty well. It's a little thick up here, a little bit maybe too splotchy, but here it's a little sharper. That looks pretty good. There's a little ding in the print there, but that's bound to happen, you know, if it touches something during production. The shoulders have green printed on it to match the green of the legs, which is pretty close. Pretty darn close. It's a little more saturated here, but that's close enough in my book, at least. Red print looks fantastic. We've got the kind of lighter green here, matching the shoulders nicely. And then the hands have the armor printed on the back, which is great. This is the second Spartan we've seen that on. I'll bring the other one in shortly. Chest plate looking very, very sharp. I really like that. This whole figure is slightly low contrast, but I'm digging it. I'm digging it. And then the head. The head is the thing I was most worried about, but I would say that this is done pretty well. Like, that's nice. So let's see. What color is this head molded in? It's molded in white, so that was good. Mega learned from the Pepsi Man that white is hard to print on the heads, so they printed the red instead. The red looks very nice. It's very sharp. Looks like there's a little bit of white showing through here, maybe, where it touched something before it was dry. And then there's some dark red back there. Dark red for the visor, or dark red for the brim. And then the visor is a kind of metallic dark red, which is pretty well done. I was very afraid, like I said, that this visor was going to be terrible. But no, they fitted it to the shape of the mold pretty nicely. There's a little bit of roughness over here, but not at all like what I was expecting. I was expecting horrible, just disappointments. But no, I'm impressed. A little bit of messy down here on the side vent, but it's not too bad at all. Like, all this stuff is, I'm perfectly fine with the way it turned out. Of course, it could always be better, but I think for what Mega's doing, this is really good. Got some red here on the sides, and then the undersuit here is dark red, which is the first time we've ever gotten this piece in dark red. Actually, it's the first time we've gotten a lot of pieces in this color. Like, we've never had this color before, I don't believe, at least not in the Halo line. This green kind of matches Agrina, but it's molded this time instead of painted, so that's nice. And then, of course, we couldn't end this video at all without bringing in these guys. I like what you're doing, Mega. I like the fact that you're just kind of doing Mark 7s in coatings, event coatings so far. That's what both of these are. Let's see, is that a... No, that was just a crumb. Yeah, this is the like championship coating, and then this was the winter, they call it winter contingency event. So I'm liking this. I would love to just continue getting more and more Mark 7s in special coatings. I think that would be fantastic. I would love that. Also, you can see to how Mega has improved the shaping for the print. Look at that. So they've learned. They learned from this guy, and they immediately put it into practice for this guy. So that's a huge plus. Huge, huge plus. And like I said, big fan of getting these like event coating Spartans in Mark 7 armor with all the different coatings. That's fantastic. And I now have so much more hope for the multiplayer Mayhem set, seeing this guy. This is fantastic. If this is the standard that they're aiming for, then the multiplayer Mayhem set is going to be truly epic. Yes, I have saved what might be the best for last. It's certainly not my favorite in the whole series, but that's just because I like the Peppermint Spartan a lot. But this is our first human combat form in new articulation. It's actually the first time that we're getting any combat form in new articulation at all. There is an elite one coming in the Floodgate set, but that's not out yet. This isn't out yet, but the Floodgate set really isn't out yet. We have the stand. It's got the like flood containment symbol back there. Is that what that is? But it stands out and denotes another faction, which is very nice. And then we've got a lot going on here. So first of all, the color is kind of this bronzy color. It looks very similar to like the CE Marines armor. And I was very skeptical about that at first. I wasn't sure that that was going to be a good choice. But seeing it in person, it actually works out pretty well. The shininess, I think, is why Mega picked it, because it makes it look kind of moist and like wet. So that's really gross, and that was the point here. And then they've mixed in a little bit of brown to create different shades, and that'll vary from figure to figure. That looks pretty nice. And we've got a bronze upper arm. Now, this chest plate is exclusive to this figure as of right now. It is a broken Halo 3 Marine chest, which actually, let me grab Mr. Stacker here so you can kind of see what it looks like, you know, human, and then Flood is overtaken. You can see the chest plate there. Shaping is right. The print is very nice. It works out pretty well. It's slightly more matte than the actual Marines, but I think that's fine. And there's a lot of really gross detailing. Like, you can see the stretching of the flesh and muscle. And then there's like bits of the infection going up here. And then this is real textured. Then the arm. The arm can actually move out almost straight, which is not bad. It's very loose, actually. Like the swivel and the hinges, it's all very loose. So I'm not really sure how they assembled it. But there's a hand here, which I believe can hold something. It looks like it can. Am I wrong? No, it can. So you can have it hold the gun in that arm. I doubt it would be very effective there, but could. Also, this is slightly soft, so you won't have to worry about snapping these fingers too easily. And then we have these articulated claws, which can like swivel and turn into a pincher claw, like that. Or you can just have it kind of turn grasping like that. So these are actually not new. They came with some sort of spider dude in the Masters of the Universe line, but the rest of this is new. The chest, or it's actually just a whole torso. The torso is new, the upper arm and the lower arm are new. And I believe this head is new too. I thought maybe it was a Call of Duty zombie head, but I don't believe it is. And I had some other people say that they didn't think it was either. So I think that's a new head, and it's very horrifying. It's like splattered with stuff on the front. You can see the remnants of hair, but now it's kind of like eaten away and is in biomass now instead. Eyes are painted on, and you can articulate the head whichever way you want. So you can have your flood forms have a little variation. And then these pieces are just normal, same as always. And And then the lower legs are the ones shared with the new Marines with the print, which is very nice. Then we have just, I think that's an elite upper arm in bronze to make it more lumpy, and then just Marine lower arm. And then just a green battle rifle. This is like the old style green that I don't think we've ever seen a battle rifle in this color, at least the newer battle rifle. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be really happy with this. This is by far going to be the most difficult one to find, I'm sure, because people are going to army build the heck out of it. I thought, you know, the Honor Guard would probably be the most difficult, but now that I've seen this and now I've seen like other people's reactions, this guy is definitely going to be the one that everybody wants for sure. Mega has done a really good job. I was not sold at all on this bronze, but after seeing it in person, I understand the choice. It looks pretty darn good. Only thing I could have said is maybe a wash, but the wash would have taken some of the shininess off of the bronze, which would make it kind of less slick looking. So I understand their choice actually a lot, and I'm on board with it. I think they did a good job here. Well, there you have it. That is Halo Heroes Series 18. So I've heard a lot of people talking about how this is kind of a dud series and it's a bummer already, and it hasn't come out, and people are already saying it was bad choices and it's lame. And I have to say that I don't agree. I think there are some weird choices for sure, but it's a good series. I feel like it's fairly well-rounded. We have villains from various eras. We have 2 good guy characters. We have some new molds. We have returning characters. We have new stuff from Halo Infinite. We have old stuff that people have asked for a long time. So I feel like it's very well-rounded. We have some of the things that people never asked for, like nobody really asked for a new Consano, but Mega decided to do a really good version anyway. The only issue that I have with Consano is the mouth print, but I feel like that's minor. And there's minor nitpicks with maybe all of them. You know, Atriox, the teeth are a little weird. She's got the funky mouth. The gold on him could have been a little better. The only thing that really stuck out to me is the waist is a little loose. And then this guy, I don't really know if I have huge complaints about anything with him. Maybe some print for the battle rifle or a wash. That's about all I can think of. And then overall, I would say that Mega needs to work on their hands a little bit. Like the human hands seem to be a little odd lately. Like they'll hold the stuff, but it won't click into place. It'll just kind of sit there, which can be interesting because then you can do stuff like have him holding it like slightly down and it still stays. But I would like this stuff to click in like it's supposed to. That would be great. But other than that, quality control seems to be decent. Prints overall are pretty good. Consano has a hand issue. I don't really know how avoidable that is. I'm hoping that this guy's hands don't snap. Some of the elite hands have been a little fragile. But all in all, I would say this is probably a solid 9 out of 10 series, at least from my perspective. I feel like I said, the character selection is well-rounded. There's a little something for everyone. You know, if you like the older games, there's something there. If you like Halo Wars, there's something there. If you like Halo Infinite, there's something for both the multiplayer lovers and the campaign lovers. I don't know. It's just really nice. And I don't know. Personally, I like it better than Series 17. I don't know. Maybe it's just because Series 17 left a bad taste in my mouth because of the bootlegs and all the chaos for that. But this series to me is better. So, as I said at the beginning of the video, these are not out yet. They will not be out until fall, probably late fall, knowing how Mega gets things shipped out. Maybe even early winter. So, please do not run down to the comments and go, where do I buy this? Or, I can't find these in my stores anywhere, because you won't find them in your stores for a while yet. I've gotten them early from a Mercari seller named Popcorn8, who does restock from time to time, but the stuff sells very fast. I will put a link to his Mercari, but again, it sells very, very quick. There may or may not be any. So, it's the hunt is starting now, but they're not out yet. So overall, very happy with the series. I think, despite hearing various complaints, I think that people will enjoy this. I think there's, again, something for everybody. Sound like a broken record, but I really do think that this is a very well-rounded series. I'd like to do a video soon talking about Halo Heroes in general, what's going on with them, why they're so difficult to find now. But for now, these ones are pretty darn good. And like I said, I've now a lot of hope for the multiplayer Mayhem set because this guy turned out so good. Again, these aren't releasing until fall, so keep your eyes peeled once fall starts to roll around. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.